Hey, how's it going? My name is Cyrus Sarro, and this is the third episode of Demo Makeover. Basically, I'm taking a series of old demos I did during the summer of 2018, maybe 2017, something like that. And I'm basically revisiting them and turning them into something approaching a full release-ready album. So this is the third track. No Act of God, and it's probably my favorite on the record. No, it's not. It's probably my favorite demo in terms of how close it came to how I want the final product to sound. But that said, there's still a lot of things that I would change about it. So let's listen to it.
When a corner of your hamlet marks your local bubble,
This is really slow.
and the Milky Way is just in movies play, and replayed orbiting around your room.
I like the delay, although the vocals need to be really tight in this section, I think, for it to work.
If the sun is a light bulb, then you're the moon.
I might double up the bass with something to make it pop out more. It might be too much at this point in the song, though. I'm not sure. We'll see. And I hate that the guitar and violin samples are playing slightly different things here.
So friend, your bones are craters. I pray someday they'll be
So I know what I was going for with the horn samples, but it sounds too cheesy. So I might ditch those.
guess our lives are relative to whatever's in our sights. Is that whatever can be much smaller than the speed of
Might use a synthesizer. I like the vocal distortion.
14 billion years isn't long enough. No act of God could fix this now when none's expected. But if you give me a call, I'll be around.
I think the bass definitely needs to be doubled here.
I'll be around.
So I guess in summary, I really like the general layout of that arrangement. like a lot, but some of the certain specific sounds like the bass need to be doubled. I think the horns sound cheesy because they're so fake, and I probably can't afford to actually hire horn players, so I might switch that out with a synth or something. The unfortunate thing is, since this track is overall a lot slower than I think it should be, I'm probably going to have to redo almost everything except the drum programming, which is unfortunate because most of those parts are totally usable as is, but I don't think that just speeding them up will sound very good. So anyway, yeah, that's the tune. We'll see how it turns out. I did the thing, and this one was slightly unusual, maybe compared to the others, insofar as I actually think I ended up with slightly less in the final version than I started with in terms of like the layering and the arrangement. I think it works much better at a higher tempo, and I did indeed have to redo almost everything because of that, except for the drum programming. A couple changes that I made. One is that the bass line in the instrumental breaks, I felt neat. I feel like that bass line is really kind of the almost the melody of those sections, and so it needed to be doubled with something in the high register. So that's how I arrived at this this keyboard part. So here's the bass line on its own. Now I add it on. Etc. So that really helps it pop, and the chords played by the keyboard also are a nice balance of making that section a little more full, a little less harmonically ambiguous without being too cloying, because the keyboard's still a relatively light touch. So I thought that was a really nice addition. I also doubled the bass line later on in the song with a really distorted wah guitar. So in this section, what we've got going on is so again, it's a lot bigger, adds a lot more emphasis on that line, and the wah just ends up being a pretty dominant texture of that part of the song. I also added in my typical organ with a rotor, which is just kind of, at this point, I think this is going to kind of be a bit of a signature of this record, that organ sound kind of in the background. So it's just pretty much comping the chords throughout the song, and it comes in a little bit of a ways in, but so very hissy and small sounding, not too loud, but it definitely adds a certain something. What else did I do that was cool? I got rid of I kept the main guitar line being doubled by violin, but I got rid of the horn parts because I liked the arrangement, but they just sound too fake. I don't have very good horn samples, and for the scope of this project, it was kind of outside of the wheelhouse to actually hire horn players, so I just axed that, and I'm kind of sad to see it go, but I think it stands fine without it. Honestly, there's already a lot of musical information in this song. I did some cool stuff with ambience at the beginning of the song in the first verse, because, I mean, really, it's just vocals and drums, so there's a lot of room for stuff like that. I've got these guitars just with a lot of delay, just making racket. Now, in the vocals, it was a real fight to find the right balance. Got some pretty active automation here because it was a real fight to find the right balance of in that section of the delay really filling out the sound and overwhelming, but still retaining enough clarity in the vocal melody that you understand what's happening. And I'm not sure if I hit that balance perfectly. I think I did a pretty good job. What I have here is, like, among other things, the at the beginning of each phrase, I take out the delay and bring it back in. So out of context, it's like,
when a corner of your hamlet marks your local bubble, and the Milky Way is just a movie's played.
so I had to fight with it a little bit to get it there. I actually spent way too much time just screwing around with delay automation in the first verse, but I think it came out pretty cool. So hopefully you guys will agree when you hear it. There was one other kind of cool thing that I did that was a little different. So in the first instrumental break, I just have a clean guitar playing the guitar line there, a single clean guitar with a little bit of reverb on it. And the clean guitar line is... So I keep that clean guitar track going for a long time, but then what I do that I think is kind of cool is in the next instrumental section, I actually switch that line over to 2 doubles of the same guitar part, hard pan right and left. So in this section, and the natural chorus you get from it and the width is a really nice contrast to the single super clean guitar in the center before. I've got a different amp sim on it too. It's a little more dirty and a little more high mid-rangey. So that was cool. The rest was honestly just details. As said, I didn't really change too much beyond that, but obviously I mixed it a lot more. I did my usual thing with the drum processing, the vocal processing, etc. So without further ado, here it is.